Those were the days. So, because of this, 21 days, everybody, it's a small group of people, maybe around 40, 45 people, in a very remote place where you have to carry your water almost half a kilometer for everything that you have to use. There's only one tap outside, from there you have to carry water, everything. And then I saw one young woman, like in her late 20s, who was not interested in anything. She cannot even close her eyes and sit for 2 minutes. Then I one day call her and ask her, you're here, why are you here first of all? This must be torture for you because you're not interested in anything that's happening here. And she told me crying, the only reason why she's here is, she wants to be away from her mother-in-law. I don't know how many of you have escaped in-laws, outlaws, whatever else you have in your life. So, she was bitterly crying and saying it is so torturous at home, she is willing to do any work here. So, we do not know why different people take to spiritual process, but you must understand spiritual process is not an escape, it is a transcendence. Well, it'll liberate you and free you from many things, but not if you approach it as a means to escape. When I say your guru has become your dharma, that means he has become everything. The way you breathe, your breath is decided by him, your body, the way your blood flows is decided by him. If you imbibe this energy, you will become like this, and then you're naturally ecstatic. Once you're ecstatic, whether you live for 5 minutes, 5 years or 100 years, doesn't matter because it all feels the same way. And what activity you're doing, where you are, what you're eating, doesn't matter simply because you're completely blissed out. This is important because this is what freedom means. You become free not because you think I'm free. You become free because your experience is independent of what's happening around you. Your experience is independent of the comfort or discomfort of your body. Your experience is completely independent of what thoughts and emotions are passing through in your mind. Once your experience of life becomes independent of all these things, this is a living mukti. Once you live like this, you don't worry about where are you going. It doesn't matter because inevitably a life which has blossomed will naturally go to the right place, there is no other way. But Sadhguru, I would like to become like that, but I have some doubt. No, I'm not going to clear your doubt today because you created the doubt, you get rid of it. This happened. At one time, not now, at one time, Shankaran Pillai was an out-and-out pessimist. So, he was visiting Tennessee and he went out with a friend, a local friend that he made, for bird hunting. So they went to certain places where there was little marshlands and they sat down waiting. When the birds flew, the friend picked up his shotgun and boom. Every time a bird fell in the marsh, his dog, the bird hunting dog, just ran upon the water like Jesus. Ran upon the water, picked up the bird and brought it back, picked up the bird and brought it back, every time. The friend was looking at Shankaran Pillai for the effect. Shankaran Pillai was just looking bored and looking at this whole thing. Then after many forays like this, the dog actually walking, running on the water, picking up the bird and coming back, then what to do with these Indian guys who are not impressed with miracles because they come from a country which has seen too many miracles and claims of miracles all over the place, that he's not impressed. Then his friend asked, "What do you think about my dog?" Shankaran Pillai said, "The damn thing cannot even swim." What do I do? So you clear your own doubts. If you have doubts, you clear it. It's been long enough, I've been around. If you have doubts, you work it. If you have questions, not doubtful questions, questions to enhance something, please, let's go to the questions.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. This is the day Adi Yogi became the Adi Guru, but before him, was there no way for seekers to access the dimension of Guru?
Well, we have spoken sometimes before, but anyway, now that you asked the question, this will again inflame the social media. See, as per certain astronomical events, and also certain geological events in terms of how they describe the geography, and in terms of certain major geological events that happened when a certain mountain blew its volcanic top. If by looking at these things, for example, there are Vedas, the Rig Veda, of the 4 books, people should not misunderstand, because when I say a book, people understand that an entire religion is packed in a book. No, in the East it's not like that. Because there is no belief system, it is not packed in a book. Vedas were essentially the only library that they had at the time. So everything that they knew, they wrote it down. Vedas talk about how to build a very efficient bullock cart, how to raise a particular crop, how to manage water in the village, and also talks about how to realize oneself. Essentially, it was a one-book library. All the knowledge they had, they packed it into one book. Today, if you walk into a library anywhere, particularly in United States, probably it'll have 2-3 million books or more. I'm just estimating, I walked into some libraries and I looked around, how many could be there? I have not checked exactly, but easily over 1 or 2 million books could be there. Because everybody can write a book now, you know everybody can write a book. How I escaped or how I fought through the pandemic times, I think a lot of books are going to come now, everybody will write. So those days it is not like that. Knowledge was gathered, a farmer discovered something about agriculture, the wise men in the town or in that culture noted, oh, this is important, they wrote it into one book. In the same book, a yogi realized something, he spoke about something of great significance, that also was put right next to the farmer's realization of how to grow a crop. So it is a one-book library. Looking at some of the astronomical events that they recorded, one important thing is, it is estimated it could be over 100,000 years ago. One important aspect that we have to note is, there is no mention of Himalayas in the Rig Veda. They're talking about all the other mountain ranges in the Indian subcontinent. There is no mention of Himalayas. When you talk about mountains anywhere in the world, you cannot ignore Himalayas. There is no way. Those of you who have not traveled to Himalayas, especially if you are born in India and have not traveled to Himalayas, you must pack your stuff, you must get there as quickly as possible. It's something that you cannot miss. It is literally an endless mountain. I know there is a mountain in United States called Endless Mountain. Not like that. This is really, really endless mountain. The immensity of it is simply overwhelming for any human being. There are various other dimensions to it, leaving that. So there is no mention of Himalayas, especially when you're talking about mountain systems in the subcontinent. How can you ignore Himalayas? They did not ignore it because it was not there. Himalayas is of a recent origin. It has grown because the subcontinent plate is crashing into the main Central Asian plate and it's going up, it's still a growing mountain. So it dates back to that time. Was everything written at one time? No. This book might have grown in its volume over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years, we don't know. But definitely it dates back to that kind of time. So we started talking about 15,000 years, not because that is the date, because we have some iconographic proof that 12,000 years ago, there was an image of Adiyogi on the coins that they made. Based on this, we are saying around 15,000. But all other things say it was much beyond. So much beyond means, in most part of the world at that time, most people were still hanging from the trees. There was no need for any spiritual teaching or methodology because literally everybody across the planet was fighting for their survival. They did not think of anything more than how to survive this day. But fortunately, as Himalayas grew and the land got protected by the mountains, no invaders, no rampaging hordes came from anywhere else. As this happened, those 5, 6, 7,000 years of peaceful existence happened. That is when the seekers came, because now they had a stable life, they had mastered agriculture to some extent. Because of that, they started living in one place, food was stored up and kept, every day you didn't have to go hunting. Now, human mind started looking what more? That's when the seeking happened. So the question of before Adiyogi, was there no possibility? Maybe there was, but definitely there was no organized approach to it. What Adiyogi gave is not that we do not know, that he is the first one to realize. Maybe others realized but had no means to express it, no knowledge to express it, no, a profound sense of understanding to put it out as a science. So Adiyogi opened up this possibility that every human being can enhance himself or herself if they are willing to strive. This is the most important aspect of his life. For the first time, a clear statement that you are not a fixed life. You are not a fixed life like other creatures on this planet. All other creatures are fixed between two lines, that's all their life is. The possibility of what they can be is fixed. Adiyogi came and opened this doorway to a larger world that you are not a fixed life. If you are willing to strive, there are possibilities beyond what you consider as natural limitations of life. So this possibility of evolution, conscious evolution, is the significant contribution of Adiyogi. And it is not just a statement, There is an entire method